Hey, it's Taylor. Welcome back. Today, I wanted to share maybe potentially some random things, but in my head they're related. So maybe they're related to other people and maybe they'll be helpful to hear. Um, I think a lot about, and I even shared like one reel over a year ago, maybe about a year ago, about this. I'll have to find it and share it. And it's this idea that, like, I really truly think that most people and most things are saying the same thing, but you have to find someone who says it in a way that makes it click for you. You have to read the book that gives you that aha moment. You need to find the person that says the words in the right way that it clicks for you. So I don't necessarily think it's bad that everyone's saying the right thing, or I don't think it's necessarily bad that everyone is saying the same thing. I think that it's kind of the point, and it also kind of solidifies the idea that, I mean, that we're all connected, but we're all different, but we're all the same. Like, we're all the same consciousness, but we're being manifested in different bodies, however you want to think of it. um, but this really started to click for me maybe back in like 2021, definitely in 2022. It was like, right, 2021. This is not what I was going to be talking about, but I kind of want these podcasts to just be streams of consciousness. um, 2021 for me was like at least 5 years long. I say that to people and they don't really understand it, but if you get it, you get it. I feel like I lived through many, many things. Um, and I don't need to go into detail. I don't want to. Maybe someday I will want to, but I don't want to right now. And then 2022, that was the conception, pregnancy, and the birth of my daughter, and the birth of me as a mother, and the birth of really this new me. And anyway, in all that to say is that it really started to click that, like, oh, like it is, they have been saying the same thing. And then, there are moments of like, well, I read that 10 years ago, but it didn't make sense to me. Why didn't it make sense to me? And I was upset, and I could have understood it, and I could have been moved, whatever. But like, I mean, even I'm trying to think of examples. I wrote some down. So like, you can have whatever you want. You're worthy of whatever you want. Everyone says that, but like, what are other ways? What are other ways that we hear that? Like, if you pray about it, it's already done. If that resonates with you, in the Bible, that's really what they say. Pray and then act as if it's happened. Or the more mystical ones of, if you can feel the feeling and the experience of it in your body, it's already done. um Maybe not exactly the same thing, but similar. But like, everything is a mirror, or you create your reality. Like, what you see is, you see what you want to see, right? Like, they're all similar, but they're all just different enough that somewhere along the way you'll hear it said in a way that you're like, oh shit, like, oh. um I think for me, one of the silliest examples, and this always, like, it actually kind of makes me mad, a little bit mad at me. One of my, like, the clearest examples of this, don't make fun of me, is, I a little bit of like a pat on my own back is, I remember I started following the holistic psychologist, or I believe Nicole LaPera, on Instagram, like way before she had a million followers. Now I don't even know how many she had. And I remember when she got a million followers, and I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, I've been following her for so long, and now she's like huge. Again, none of that really ever matters, but it's always like fun to be one of the originals. And way way back when, oh my gosh, when would this have been? I was definitely in, I was definitely in grad school. I don't want to say definitely, pretty sure I was in grad school. So this was anywhere between like 2018 and 2021. That's a very long time. So I somewhere along the way I downloaded her um gratitude daily journal prompts. I think it was like three little prompts, and you did them every morning. And I did them every single morning, because that was really, again, this like 20, even before then I was always very dedicated to like self improvement, but really in the sense of like health and fitness and those kinds of things. Like I was the girl in undergrad that like always went to the gym in between classes and that, and was like, and I've always ate very well. But then grad school, especially the doctorate, was when more of like the mystical stuff started to set in. And mystical, I shouldn't say I mean, mystical isn't bad, but like the more of like the spiritual of like, oh, like health, and is like a lot of it's mental health, and mental health is really a lot of like spiritual health, and spiritual health is a lot of, I don't even know where to go with that. Anyway, so because I was just it was like 2018, I just had this like very very sudden onset of experiencing anxiety in a way that I'd never had. I never had performance anxiety. I never in a way that I was truly aware of, but like 2018, 2019, it like became, it was crippling. It really was. Um, and I have some theories about it. One, definitely a relationship that I got myself into, and I have no idea how or why. If you knew me then, you would agree with that. And then definitely being in academia for so long, doing the doctorate, going through it so quickly, living in a place I was miserable. Like there was just so many things to it. So 2019, I mean, I truly was in rough shape. Um, anyway, I was doing these daily gratitude morning journalings, and I was so dedicated to them. Like I'm very proud of the fact that like I am very easily self-motivated. If there's something that I want to do and I want to dedicate myself to it, like I just decide and it's done. Like if I'm going to journal every morning, I will. Like if I'm going to like if I'm going to do something, I just do, and I'm very proud of that. So I did my and I so it was I can't remember the prompts now. I was going to look them up and I totally forgot. Um it was basically just like make a list of the things you're grateful for, like 15 things you're grateful for some reason. I'm really thinking of the number 15. um and I did it, and every morning. But now looking back, um I never felt the feeling of gratitude. I just wrote down things I'm grateful for. And I remember, even I think at some point, like I was in talk therapy and I talked about how I did this exercise, and I was so frustrated because it had done absolutely nothing for me. I had gotten nowhere. I did not really feel like, I didn't understand how and why gratitude was so powerful. And so then I was just angry because like I was just so mentally unwell, and I was like, I am trying so hard, because again, like I am very dedicated to like to self growth, or I mean just to growth in general, and being a better person and being the best person that you can be. So I was very upset because I didn't know what I very quickly get caught up in the, well, what am I doing wrong? So it wasn't until now, I want to say 2021, maybe 2022, when I fell in love with Joe Dispenza and his work. And he's all about like feel, oh, what's the word that he uses? Um, all I can think of is heightened emotions, and that's not right. Elevated, elevated emotions. And he talks, and very, very, like much of his work, um, the foundation of his work is to feel the elevated emotions and the power of feeling these emotions. And so I was reading his book, Becoming Supernatural, and I was like, fuck, fuck me. Like that whole time I was doing that whole work, and not once did I realize that the point was to like get into the feeling of gratitude. I thought it was just like, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful that I have good hair. I'm grateful that I don't know, that like well, whatever I wrote, I was grateful for that day. A beautiful morning cup of coffee. I'm grateful that I like enjoy baking. I don't know. I do really enjoy baking. And so I never understood. So that was, I have this little twig. If you're watching the video, I'm pointing it at you. That was like the aha moment for me, and then that would really was like a blossoming almost of like, oh, I act, and then oh, it appears here, and oh, it's there too, and it's like, oh, we have all been saying the same thing. Everyone is saying the same thing, but it's our job to get into, well, and then of course in my specific example, that's my job to get into the elevated emotions of gratitude. And it's not that I even have to, okay, and then so fast forward even more, I now am deeply in love with Amanda Francis, and she is the money queen. She's my queen, and I am, everything she says is fucking gold. Everything she says is gold. Very, very different delivery than Joe Dispenza, as to be expected, which is amazing. And it clicked for me also, but in a very different way, but in a very, very visceral, like, oh, this makes fucking sense. Like, it's this beautiful, rich, self-made, rich, blonde woman. And I feel like I kind of am somewhere in between, like Joe Dispenza, the woo-woo, like doctor of something, and pretty sure he's actually a doctor of chiropractics, which um, I think that's what Wikipedia says, and I think that's a little bit silly, but I have a lot of respect for chiropractors and what they do, and there's so much more to it. Anyway, um, so like, a highly esteemed doctor, this and that. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, or don't correct me. It doesn't matter. And then there's Amanda Francis, and like she wasn't also very highly educated. She was in a PhD program, and she decided to drop out herself, which I feel like is so freaking badass. For I don't know. I'll riff on my ideas and thoughts and whatever's of graduate degrees, especially the doctorates, maybe someday. Um, and so she talks about, she's like, if you are even just getting started in really wanting to create the life you want, and of course the foundation of her work is built on like making money, which is fucking incredible because we need money to survive, and especially women, we're made to feel guilty for wanting and needing money. And it's like, well, no, like I have a daughter to take care of, and I have to take care of myself, and I am doing it by myself. So like, of course I need and I want money, and I want a lot of it because I want my daughter to have a really good fucking life. Like, and that's not bad for me to say. So go find Amanda Francis and follow her and consume everything she has to offer if you need that. Or if you don't need it, you probably do. So what she says is, even if you're just beginning and you don't know where to start, 90 seconds, feel the feeling, especially gratitude. Just feel it. What would it feel like if you already had everything that you wanted? And just sit there for 90 seconds. Can you hold it for 90 seconds? And then now applying this, and then all the way back to like the gratitude work. It's like that. I easily could have been sitting in gratitude for 90 seconds, but I didn't fucking get it. And then now, in the middle was like my experience with consuming Joe Dispenza's work, and I have a handful of his meditations that I've purchased, and I love them. Um, and he, he has meditations that are at least an hour, and he is all about getting you into the elevated emotions, just like Amanda says, and like it's all the same, but it's said differently. And some people may not, well, I don't know. Some people may not resonate with the way that, Joe Dispenza says it, and some people may not resonate. And, I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know why, because it's so black and white and it's so like, aha. But then, sorry if you just heard me snort. I am like having a lot of congestion, and it's offensive. I'm sorry. So, anyway, I just think that's very silly. And I will always laugh at myself for just like angrily writing down the things that I'm grateful for and then being angry about why is this not working. Um, excuse me. So, on the same topic, potentially unrelated, but in my head they're related. Um, Christina Sutra is also another one that I consume a lot of her content, and it's gold. Um, and she's just so wonderful. And I even met her once, and which is like, meeting a celebrity, and or like a, forever someone that you've looked up to. And the this makes me giggle also. The video I watched of hers yesterday was about, how to be your authentic self. And I do feel like I really genuinely struggle with that, which I don't know, maybe is surprising for people to hear, but like I I still experience anxiety a good amount, but I experience a lot more insecurity than I ever realized, and much more than I've ever shared. And I'm really realizing and really working through like my own insecurities. And I do think that most people have a fair amount of insecurities. But, her watching Christina's video yesterday on how to be your authentic self and how to be unbothered. And she just, a handful of times mentions that she's like unbothered. And I'm like, fuck, like I'm working so hard to get there, but that is just not me yet. And I get frustrated with myself because I'm like, why am I not there yet? And I think that that's one thing I just need to stop thinking. I need to get to the point where I'm like, I am there. I am there. Um, and and I think that it's okay to be not unbothered. And I know that again, it comes with time and it comes with age, which brings wisdom. And I definitely agree that you can be wise and young, but I definitely agree that age inherently, and I'm pausing, doesn't inherently bring wisdom, but it does and it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe that's confusing too. So whatever, I'll move on from that thought. Um, I do think that I do a decent job coming across as unbothered, and that makes me happy. But internally, there's a quote that I love, and I shared on my Instagram at some point. And it's funny how, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I feel like I share one thing one time and I'm like, I can't ever share anything like that again because I already shared it and people will know that I've shared it more than once, and then I'll be annoying. Um, Again, those are like kind of the anxious tendency thought spirals that I'll have. And then I see other people sharing things kind of repeatedly, and I like it. Like I'm happy that they share the same thoughts over and over, because sometimes like I need that and I need to see it twice and I need to hear it more than once. So all that to be said, here's the quote. It's by Georgia O'Keeffe. I've been absolutely terrified every moment of my life, and I've never let it keep me from doing a single thing that I wanted to do. And I I don't vividly remember when I read that, but I remember reading it at some point and I was thinking, that's it. Which is true. And it goes back to the like being determined and dedicated, and on my journey to self growth and self improvement. It is absolutely terrifying. So, like, if you're really not fully on that track yet, like, that's okay. And it's okay to feel like terrified and not confident and not convinced, or not unbothered. I could just say be bothered, but I don't know, it feels more effective to say to be not unbothered. um, that quote aligns directly to something that the amazing Amanda Francis always says. And um, I think even she admitted one time she doesn't know if she like said this first or if it's a quote that she took from someone else, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But it's feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. um and that's what I do. And like I am working through living in a life with less fear and significantly more love. And actually that's something Christina talked about in the video I watched yesterday. I think people often think that the opposite of love is hate, and that is not true. The opposite of love is fear. And I think that's just really powerful. So whatever you need to do with that, you can, fidget with a little twig and think about that for a little bit. Um, I'm not fading, I'm thinking, turning over my notes. So feeling the fear and doing it anyway, or acknowledging I have been terrified every single moment of or second or experience of my life, of whether it was moving across the country. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't even know what I was referencing when I said that. I was thinking of grad school, and then I realized that I've done it so many times since then. Um, and every single time in 2015, when I moved from Boise to Illinois, and I wasn't even moving by myself, I was moving with the man I thought I was going to marry, and I was following a career that I thought I wanted to be, that I thought I would just be in and pursue forever. And I was terrified. And then every time between then and now that I have, whether it's move across the country or, you know, leave a relationship, leave the father of my child, absolutely just fucking terrified. But I did it anyway. I felt the fear and I knew that it was for the best. Or even if I didn't know it was for the best, but I did it, I did it anyway. And I think that kind of maybe segues into my next thought of we are in charge of always getting back to the place that we want to be internally. Um, that is our job. I think that is our most important job here. That is our most important job um, on this journey of like self-improvement, which I feel like there has to be a better way to say that, because self-improvement, for some reason, I just like see the Lowe's like logo in my head, like a Home Depot, but for some reason it's Lowe's right now. And it's like, I don't know. So, for example, I wake up every single morning, and my job, I've been waking up at 5:30 every morning. I want to get to the point where I wake up at 5. I tried 5:15 for a little bit, and that was a little bit more challenging for me, but I can wake up at 5:30. My alarm will go off. I will check my basal body temperature. I use the Daisy app, and I absolutely love it. I do have a link if you would be interested in that. And the temperature, taking of the temperature is just enough movement and awareness that helps me wake up. And then I am done with that. I'm like, okay, I need to get my head on straight. I wake up, and that is what I do. There's a few things that I do in my morning. Not that, I don't know. I love hearing what people's routines are. So I wake up. I usually have to go pee really bad. So I go pee. I boil my water for my coffee, and while that's boiling, that is when I brush my teeth and I dry brush. Sometimes I wash my face. Ideally, I wash my face then so I don't do it later, and my tallow will soak into my face that my best friend ever makes. And I will let you know if you want some new face stuff. It is a Glory Skincare. She's in Bend, Oregon. And that is a side note, but it is amazing stuff. Sometimes I just like to let it set into my face before I put makeup on. Anyway, so I'll do that, and then I make my greens, drink my greens, make my coffee, and then I sit on the couch and I meditate until I feel happy and excited and joyful and grateful for where I am in this moment. And some days it's pretty easy. I can get to the point where I feel deep gratitude pretty quickly. And then there are some days where like it takes me almost an hour to get to the place where I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it. And it's all gonna happen and it's all gonna work out. And I know I'm not where I want to be yet, but I like where I am. And it's not what I thought it would look like. But that's good, because what if it was exactly what I thought it would look like? How boring would that be? Like I eventually I get to the place, but there, every morning I wake up and my mantra while I'm going through all these little steps is show me how amazing and easy it can be. Because I think that I know that I think that it needs to be hard. I know that I think it needs to be hard, and that is not true. So I am getting myself to the place where it can be amazing and it can be easy. And that doesn't mean that everything is going to be like snap my fingers, I get everything that I want, but also why not? Um, because I feel, I'm like, I've done enough, I've struggled enough, it's been hard enough, I've done enough shit, and it gets to be good now. And it just gets to be good now. And maybe it's not all perfect and it's not all good immediately right now, but I know that it's coming. I mean, that almost gets a little Abraham Hicksy. And for some reason, I haven't fully deep dived into like their work yet. But I have started to, and it's been another like ping, like, oh, I get it, I get it, I get it. And that goes back to the like, our reality is what we make of it and what we create. Um, and then it's like, oh shit, that's what everyone's been saying all along. Like, why didn't I get it? And you just have to get someone to say it to you, or write it down and publish it so you can read it in a book. Like, you just need to find it so that you can consume it in a way that makes it ping for you. Let me look at what I've written down. I do think an important part of that is allowing yourself to, I'm going to check and make sure this is still recording. Okay. I do think it's important to feel the feelings of whatever like doubt is coming up, right? Like, oh, what if I can't do it? Like, what if I don't pull it off? Like, what if I don't, like, right now I have kind of like my ideal stream of incomes and where I want to live and all these things, and like, you know, ideal partner. I have all these in my head and I'm working towards mostly just feeling worthy of them. And I think a part that some people skip is the like acknowledging of where that comes from, not necessarily knowing, well, it was this in childhood that made me think that this, like, sometimes you can, and you could deep dive into it, you could journal it and you can unknot it and get it all figured out. Sometimes you can't. I feel like that's where I get stuck. A lot of my things of like feelings of insecurity and unworthiness, I'm like, where did it come from? And I can't figure it out, and I'm like frustrated, and maybe it doesn't matter. But regardless of whether you can figure it out or not, like, take a day or a week or a month and just really journal on it and figure it out. A month is kind of a long time. And then just let it go. Find something else. This is direct Amanda Francis, right? Find something else that feels better and come back to it every 5 minutes if you have to. And that's what I'm doing. I'm feeling feelings and thinking thoughts that feel better than the old ones. And I do, like I said, every morning I have to wake up and I have to remind myself that those old thoughts and feelings and insecurities are literally lies from the devil. Literally lies from the devil. They're just not fucking true. I do think it's important to know and hear the lie and say, that is a fucking lie. That is a goddamn lie. And I think that sometimes we'll see or hear or read things that say, ignore it. Well, just don't listen to it. And then the ignoring it and the pushing it down almost like back burner simmers it, and it allows it to have more power. So yeah, uncover it a little bit, however much you need, and you might get more information than you think that you need, or you think you would find. And then, like I said, just keep doing it. Like, I'm going to keep doing this every single morning. Every single morning. I was going to say until like I get to the point where I wake up and I do feel unbothered. Like, because I'm just not there yet, or maybe maybe I'm there. I'm simply deciding that I'm there. I'm simply deciding that I'm there. I'm unbothered. Sometimes that's all it takes. That's another one of my little favorite new things now is I'm simply deciding. I'm simply deciding that I'm unbothered. I am simply deciding that all gets to be amazing and easy for me. I'm simply deciding. Um, that's a little trick. One other little trick is adding yet to the end of any sentence. Like, oh, I'm just not there. I'm just not there yet. I'm just not there yet. Um, Now I'm just passing down all my like tips and tricks that I force feed myself constantly. This is the hard work. This is it. Um, I don't think it's reading every single self-help book out there. I don't think it's listening to every podcast. I don't think it's reading every, I think I already said that. I don't think it's reading every book. It's finding the ones that resonate with you, and then it's continually waking up every single morning and deciding differently and choosing differently and coming back every 5 minutes if you have to, and just saying, well, I'm not there yet, but I will be. Or I'm simply deciding that I am over that one thing now. Like I am simply deciding that I'm super secure now and I'm unbothered now. I'm simply deciding I'm super unbothered now. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was interesting. And can I say I hope it was entertaining? Because, right, in some capacity, all of this is entertainment. I don't know. Maybe I mean, that's not my goal. I do feel very, very called to share thoughts and things to say. Again, mostly because of everything that I've been saying for the past however long. Is like sometimes you just need that one person to say it a little bit differently. Sometimes it just takes that one person. That's why there's however like millions, right? Like billions. Are there billions of books? There's millions of books. That's why there's so many books. That's why there's so many podcasts. That's why there's so many TV shows. And yes, some flop and some things don't make it. But I'm like, who am I to start a podcast? Who am I not to start a podcast? Who am I to share my thoughts on the internet? Who am I not? Because everyone is doing it. And maybe I am going to say it in a way that helps that one person. And that's the ripple and the butterfly effect. And just maybe I'm simply deciding it's now. Thank you so much for listening. Again, always happy with feedback and sharing. And this is this is incredibly fun for me. This is incredibly important to me. Um, so, really, genuinely, if you listened to all of this, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.